All right, it's just about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, July 18th, 2026. I'm meteorologist Megan Borowski for the Florida Public Radio Emergency Network. And we're going to spend a little bit of time this afternoon talking about the disturbance in the Gulf. The National Hurricane Center just a little while ago has issued an update to their tropical outlook. You can see now we have a medium chance for developing over the next 7 days. Now, the past couple of days, we had that yellow blob in the Gulf, denoting a low chance for development, but National Hurricane Center meteorologists have now upgraded that to a medium chance for developing over the next several days. So what does that mean for Floridians? We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that this afternoon, but before we do that, I'll give you a little bit of an overview of what the system looks like right now, and we'll take a look at actually what has happened so far from this system across our area. So I'm going to play my little satellite loop forward. You can see in the Gulf, kind of a ragtag little system, wide cloud shield spanning from the central Gulf eastward into a good portion of the Florida Peninsula. If you're located along the I-4 corridor and southward, you'll notice a lot of cloud cover overhead today. If you're northward toward the I-10 corridor or in the Panhandle, a lot more sunshine coming on through for you. I'll advance to our radar view right now. We do have most of our convective activity actually over the Gulf, and I'll zoom into that in just a second, but I want to give you that wide view of most of our showers and thunderstorms actually from this system located over the Gulf. But over the past couple of hours, those thunderstorms have even decreased over the Gulf. So this system has a long way to go to develop. It may develop into a named system, but it's got some time before it does that. I'm going to stop my animation here, and I want to actually show us rain totals so far from this disturbance in the Gulf. We've had a good amount of rain, especially for parts of the Florida Peninsula yesterday. Localized amounts of over 3 inches in some spots that led to roadway flooding. So we'll take a little bit of a tour from the Panhandle down into the rest of the state, just seeing how dappled our map looks in terms of rainfall totals. Here we go. We are looking at the Panhandle and Panama City just to the northwest. 3 inches of rainfall over the past couple of days, but you'll notice our light blue contours for much of the Panhandle denoting less than an inch. But little pockets again of about 2 to 3 inch rainfall totals over the past few days in the Panhandle. Zooming over into north central Florida, some of you got in on some heavy rainfall last evening, but again, notice the majority of our rainfall yesterday and the day before is pretty much confined along the I-75 corridor here and west to the Nature Coast. Some spots less than an inch of rain, other spots down toward just to the east of Cedar Key, nearly 5 inches of rain, and then just on the border of Marion County there, just to the west, we had over 6 inches of rain over the past couple of days. Farther to the east, not as much rainfall from our systems the past couple of days, but north central Florida getting in on the action from these rain bands streaming onshore from our disturbance in the Gulf. I'm actually going to go in here to my analysis tools, and I just want to change the view a little bit because we are so zoomed in. It's kind of hard to tell between the land and the Gulf. So I want to see if I can change here my my contour settings so we can just see the land. It looks like I might not be able to do that because I pulled this in from radar, but we'll take a look at changing those settings in a little bit. Down towards central Florida, though, the I-4 corridor here, right on my cursor, you'll see toward Lakeland, we got nearly 5 inches of rain over the past couple of days. Near Seminole, 6 inches of rain, but again, it's hit or miss. Some areas just getting about an inch or so toward eastern Hillsborough County. Farther south toward the Sarasota area, again, right along the coast and offshore, our main rainfall amounts. Looks like Sanibel and Captiva, nearly 5 inches of rain over the past couple of days, but just farther inland to Fort Myers, about just a little bit less than 4/10 of an inch of rain. So just wanted to give that overview to show how hit or miss our showers have been so far the past couple of days from the system spinning offshore. And here's the latest look at our radar scan across the state over the past couple of hours. We're finally starting to see some of those shower bands triggered by this disturbance influencing parts of the Peninsula coast and also into the Panhandle toward the Forgotten Coast. I'm going to stop my animation. We're going to turn on our radar from Tallahassee. That is probably the closest radar site that we have to these storms. Going to zoom on in, take a look at what's going on. Some heavier rain rates impacting Panama City, tracking onshore from the south right now. Looks like we do have some frequent lightning strikes as well. So hopefully if you are in the vicinity of Panama City, at the beaches in the Forgotten Coast, hopefully you're headed inside right now. This is not the time to be out on the beach. I'm going to change my laps here to the last 2 hours. And we're going to animate this forward as well and see those storms streaming onshore from the Gulf. Looks like they're going to stick around just for a little bit as they bubble up and move from south to north further inland and toward the I-10 corridor. No severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now over the Panhandle, although we do have a special weather statement issued from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee for Franklin County and Liberty County as this storm stream onshore. Actually, I'm going to take a second to see here what the National Weather Service in Tallahassee is saying about these storms. Pull up my data feed, scroll down here, see what they say in this special weather statement. We're going to go here. We're going to scroll down. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but I am pulling up the special weather statement so we can get some more details on what's going on with these particular cells. Looks like the main hazard, at least according to the National Weather Service, is going to be wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour, but we do have frequent lightning strikes already occurring from these cells, and they will likely intensify as they track on inland. So that's what we have going on in the Panhandle. As I track farther inland and toward the Florida Peninsula, we're going to turn on our composite radar. Not a whole lot going on. Most of our storms now streaming in to the Panhandle from the Gulf. Now, you might wonder, why don't we have a whole lot going on over the peninsula? We do have an area of low pressure streaming offshore. Well, one of the reasons there is because we actually had a dry pocket of drier air in relative to our tropical disturbance. Tropical disturbance over the Gulf, we have these hatched darker areas, that's more moisture, and then just to the east over parts of the Florida Peninsula, we actually have just a little bit of drier air, and that's squelching convection a little bit, squelching our thunderstorm activity. Also, parts of the peninsula had some fog this morning, so that also is limiting or delaying the onset of our thunderstorms so far today. I do want to pull up Futurecast for the rest of the day. I know I'm kind of jumping the gun past what the full-blown forecast for this tropical system is, but I do want to jump to Futurecast for the rest of the day for us, which also includes the forecast for our little tropical disturbance that's trying to develop over the Gulf. So rest of the day today, we should have a few pockets of thunderstorms develop over the interior peninsula. They'll track from south to north. Notice on Future Track, our colors, our greens and our reds moving from south to north over interior locations. We'll get a couple of downpours starting off near the coast. They'll track inland and to the north as the afternoon progresses. Most cells dying out as we get into the overnight, although notice a few pockets of rainfall still possible over parts of the Panhandle into late tonight. Then our system, again, notice some disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity over the Gulf, trying to ramp up tomorrow. And we'll see some storms wrapping onshore to the Nature Coast all the way down to the Tampa area. By the afternoon tomorrow, we could see some more thunderstorms develop inland once we get to the evening hours tomorrow. Now, this particular run of Future Track is not showing deep reds or deep oranges and deep reds along the coastline, but keep in mind it is very, very possible that we could see cells track onshore to the Gulf coastline that do produce heavy rain rates, especially over the course of the day tomorrow and even into Monday. That's the thing that we're going to be watching for, is those pockets of very heavy rain rates that continue to train over the same areas, and that's what could produce localized flooding. And we do have a risk for localized flash flooding today. The risk over the Panhandle and over really central and southwest Florida, the Gulf Coast there. As we get into the day tomorrow, that risk continues to hug the Gulf Coast, and even into the day Monday, that risk for flash flooding, notice these green colors, hugging the Forgotten Coast all the way down to the Tampa and Sarasota metro area. So really what we're looking at over the next couple of days is this disturbance kind of just hovering over the northeastern Gulf. Then once we get into the beginning of the work week, we're going to be kind of fighting between two particular features. I'm going to bring my steering winds a little bit forward in time. I also have spaghetti models overlaid on this particular map. We're going to get into the Monday, Tuesday time frame, and we're going to be fighting between two two features I'm going to draw on this particular map. We have a trough of low pressure in the northeastern United States. We also have a ridge over the western United States. We're really going to be fighting between these two features as to where this center of low pressure tracks. We have some of our models, thinking that this low pressure center is going to get scooped up, so to speak, by our trough and track to the north and east away from Florida. We've got other members of the spaghetti models saying, nope, this low pressure is going to be dragged by our ridge in the west, dragged over the Gulf to the west. So that's why we kind of see a diverging pattern here in our spaghetti models. And that's what you can see. I'll delete my green colors here. And you can see those spaghetti models as we go farther out in time. Some of them taking our low pressure center inland into Georgia, into the southeast, others taking it to the west, paralleling the Gulf. Now, I don't have the artificial intelligence models displayed on this particular forecast graphic software. However, I do have a browser and I want to show you guys what we're looking at there. Pull that up and we'll take a look at one of the newer AI models, and I will drag you through in time. Hopefully you can see my cursor. I made it a little bit bigger so that way you could see where the Google AI models are taking it. So you can see those blue dots on the map taking our low pressure center into the northeast Gulf near the Florida coastline over the next couple of days. This is Tuesday time frame right now where I have it paused. And as we go farther out in time, some of our AI members take the center of low pressure to the north and east, being kind of picked up by that trough that I showed you, whereas others take our center of low pressure to the west along the central Gulf Coast. So if our center of low pressure does track west along the central Gulf Coast, that's the situation where we could see a tropical storm develop. So that is why the National Hurricane Center, again, has upped our chance for developing to a medium chance over the next several days, because we have that chance that our low will sit over the Gulf, be dragged to the west away from Florida, but it's with that fuel from our Gulf waters that could actually help to sustain a little bit of growth and development of this system. Gulf waters right now are very, very warm. We've got most spots in the mid 80s, even offshore, closer to the Florida coastline, even warmer. So very much, a good amount of fuel available in the Gulf to sustain the growth of this system. I want to take a look outside, though. As I did mention, we have our visible satellite from our system, most of our cloud cover over the eastern Gulf and then over the I-4 corridor southward to South Florida. But if you're farther north in north central Florida or in the Panhandle, you're looking at some nice skies right now. Here's a look at the view from our friends in WeatherStem in Tallahassee. We do have a little more cloud cover nearby in Tallahassee. That's because of those thunderstorms that are building to the south over the Forgotten Coast, but nonetheless some peaks of blue sky in Tallahassee right now. And take a look though to the south in Tampa, and we are dealing with milky skies in the Tampa metro area thanks to that cloud shield building onshore from our system. Popping back north, St. Augustine, northeast Florida, we've got partly cloudy skies over St. Augustine right now. Beautiful afternoon, although it is hot. Even though we have a little bit of a dry slot throughout the column of the atmosphere, nonetheless, it's feeling hot and humid outside across the state of Florida. We've got heat index values. Jacksonville right now, it feels like 100, feels like 99 in Gainesville. Because of that cloud cover over central and South Florida, actually not too bad in terms of temperatures and feels like temperatures. It feels like 78 right now in Sarasota, feeling like 82 in Tampa, 83 in Fort Pierce. So that's the one nice thing about the cloud cover, is it's giving a little bit of a relief to those heat index values. Now, as we do have showers that pop up later on today, we should see our temperatures and our heat index values fall down a little bit. I want to pop back to Future Track and show you what we're looking at for the next couple of days in terms of rainfall. And then we'll look at some models in terms of rain total. So let's time out showers though for the rest of the day today. We'll have those storms continuing to move into the Panhandle, anywhere from the Forgotten Coast into Tallahassee, and moving in the Panhandle. They'll actually move from generally north to south. Again, if we have a center of low pressure, we've got counterclockwise rotation around our center of low pressure. And so our storms in the Panhandle will generally move from north to south, and over the peninsula today on radar, you'll notice them move from south to north. So that's what we're looking at here. Let me delete that layer and we'll time it out over the next couple of hours. So our storms over the Panhandle, moving from Tallahassee to Pensacola, and we'll have isolated showers and thunderstorms over Florida's peninsula for the rest of the day today. We get into the day tomorrow. We do expect more storms over the westernmost Panhandle, and we do expect a shield of rain to stream onto the Gulf Coast. This particular model run gives us pockets of rainfall entering the Nature Coast right around lunchtime. We could see some straggler cells streaming to the south and east, hugging down toward the Tampa and Sarasota area as well around lunchtime tomorrow. Those storms moving on inland, we could get a few cells as well closer to the I-95 corridor as circulation from our low pressure also interacts with the sea breeze. So we'll see scattered storms tomorrow during the late afternoon. We should see a pocket of moisture arrive tomorrow as well. And so we could see heavier rain rates and heavier accumulations tomorrow evening from our storms. Our center of low pressure still sitting in the Gulf, streaming in moisture from the south into the day Monday, where we should see another resurgence in storm chances, especially for north central Florida, all the way down to the Gulf Coast from Tampa down to Fort Myers, and even possibly as far south as Naples as we get into the afternoon on Monday. So from Futurecast, you can see this is not a washout situation. It's not continuous rain, continuous downpours. We are looking at on and off showers possible as they stream around circulation from this center of low pressure. I want to show you the potential for rain totals through Tuesday morning. Notice this one particular model actually keeps a good deal of our rain totals over the Panhandle, upwards of 2 inches possible in localized areas, maybe even more, but we do have those green contours really dominating in the Panhandle. That's about 1 inch or so through about Tuesday morning. Now keep in mind, locally higher amounts will be possible, especially in those areas that have the bullseye of thunderstorms producing heavy rain rates tracking overhead. North central Florida looks like we have some areas of 1 inch, maybe along and west of the I-75 corridor, and perhaps from our sea breeze interactions right along I-95. And we do have a similar scenario from this particular model toward central and South Florida, although it looks like most of our accumulations actually in Central Florida will occur inland and then perhaps along the Gulf Coast. I'm not sure if I'm 100% on board with this particular model. I do want to show you another one that I believe that I'm putting more weight in as I look at the scenario of what seems to be going on with this particular system. I'll zoom in here. Looks like this model from the Weather Prediction Center gives us a good amount of rainfall, upwards of over 3 inches right along the Forgotten Coast. Our heaviest rain then spans along the Nature Coast and then southward toward Pinellas County in western Hillsborough County. It's likely that this will be more the scenario, but we'll see. We'll continue to watch radar and we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. Overall, our chance again for this system developing over the next 7 days is a medium chance, 40% chance. If this system does become a tropical storm, the next name, of course, for 2026 is Bertha. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the alphabet for our Atlantic system. But the takeaway for the state of Florida is over the next couple of days, ribbons of storms wrapping on shore. It's not a washout for the rest of the weekend into early next week. Now we'll have hyper local deluges, and that means hyper local flash flooding. We already saw that yesterday, and we're likely to see that again tomorrow, Monday, and even into the middle of the week, potentially, if this storm lingers around. Our main flood risk is going to be near the west coast, along the Nature Coast down to the Tampa area, and that pattern is going to linger into the start to the middle of the work week. I'm going to pull radar back up. We see mostly quiet across the state of Florida. Just right now, most of our activity is impacting the Forgotten Coast from Panama City. And then we do have some storms working their way through Tallahassee as well. We'll continue to provide updates. We do have a 24/7 storyboard running here on YouTube that you can check in and see what the current conditions are in terms of the tropics. But we'll continue providing updates on this system. Until then, we will be continuing to monitor. And from the Florida Public Radio Emergency Network, I'm meteorologist Megan Borowski.